Hey there, Chubs listeners. Welcome to Chubs Gone Wild 402. Oh, we're getting so close to our regular weight. I'm so happy. It makes me feel validated.
We passed mine a good year ago.
Oh.
Well, somewhere in our pandemic time period, at least, when we were doubling and tripling up shows. But I'm just saying.
Well, I just can't even. Okay, we're just going to move on. It is July 12th, 2021, and it is currently, well, today, we'll say, the weather is going to be 91 and sunny, which is a blessing after 3 days of over 100 and 1 day of 111. I just can't even.
I swam that day.
Yeah.
I was naked in my pool in the evening, so I honestly didn't notice the heat. Once we got into the house, the air conditioning was on and I was freezing. It was weird.
Nice. I love that.
But that was the night we left the air on all night, which is something we don't do ever. Well, I can't say ever, but it's just because it was when we went to bed at I think 1, it was still 83 outside. But by the time I woke up at 7 o'clock, it was 70 outside.
Oh, wow.
And somehow in the middle of the night for a couple hours, it got cooled down. I don't even know if you can call it cool. But like last night, we had the whole house fan on at 9 o'clock. And when I got up this morning to close up the house, I got into bed, jumped back into bed, and it was shivering.
Oh, that is so lovely. I actually cooled off enough that I was able to cover up with my comforter last night. It was so beautiful. I just was so happy. Anyway, all right. Well, now that we have that behind us, it is currently 111 days till Halloween, 166 until Christmas, 84 until Thanksgiving up in the Great White North of Canada, and 175 days until season 2 of Call Me Cat. So happy.
Yeah, well, that's not as important as the fact that Evil got picked up for a 3rd season.
Oh, yes, I heard that. Well, actually, I read that on your page. You posted that. So are you happy?
Oh my God, so happy, which means that when it debuted on Paramount Plus, it must have had a huge following. Otherwise, 3 episodes in, they're already giving us a 3rd season. And I did get a like from Miss Christine Lottie, who is the one of the actresses in the show, when I said that it was my favorite show on television and the main reason to get Paramount Plus. And she liked it, and I was very excited.
Nice. That is very nice. I always love it when celebrities get a chance to interact with us. Oh, it's so nice, even if it's just a like.
Yeah. It's somebody. It's a like a moment of greatness. You've touched the sky. It's something. Yeah, when I got like Betty Buckley's and a couple of the other ones that I've gotten, it's just like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I love them. And now they don't know who I am, but they kind of for a moment thought they did.
Yeah, it was a connection for a moment. Like a little bit ago, I got a comment back from Corey Hart. That was fun. And then Todrick Hall liked one of my posts, and there's been a couple others, but I'll tell you my favorite, the one that I will always remember, is Holland Taylor.
Oh yeah, Holland loves to reply. You can tell that when she's hanging out, she's reading through her tweets.
Yes,
because
I adore her.
I've gotten a couple from her. I still have to go. You're only beating me out on marriage status as far as years by a couple of years. So,
Yeah, well, work call, silence that. Uh, anyway, let's see here. Well, we have coming up also on August 1st, we have Lunasa. And just so that you always,
Gesundheit.
I know, right? You always ask me what the pagan holidays are. So this time I made sure to mark it down.
Hey, thank you.
It marks the midpoint between summer and fall. It is a lesser Sabbat, and it is the first harvest festival of the year. It is the time for harvesting grains, giving thanks for the growth that has happened, and to enjoy the warmth and light that is still to come before, autumn and all that, which is like 6 weeks later.
Well, I had a big harvest this weekend of my tomatoes. Did you see my picture?
Yes, that was awesome.
Oh my God, they were so good because we have 4 different kinds of tomatoes. So there were some bigger round ones. There were the Romas, and then there was a San Marino, and the cherries. Oh my God, the cherries were the kind. I don't know if you've ever had a cherry tomato garden where you go out and pick them, and then half of them make it into the house.
Yes, yeah.
That's how these were. They didn't need salt. They needed just yeah, it was great. Now, and speaking of mid harvest and mid thing, that you just linguiça,
Lunasa.
that's it. Yeah. I saw a review on, I can't remember what the movie they were reviewing, but they go, it's kind of a cross between Midsummer, which was that crazy.
Yeah, which I had a friend who did some art for that movie.
I mean, it was insane. The movie was insane. And then a cross between that and The Witch. And I'm like, shouldn't you compare a movie with 2 good movies instead of 2 awful movies if you're trying to attract somebody?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I would never watch either of them ever again. And if I knew how they would end, I would not have watched, I would have gone 20 minutes. That's enough.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do have some days to celebrate today.
We do?
I know, including an odd one. We celebrate Different Colored Eyes Day.
Okay.
Have you ever known anyone with different colored eyes?
I know I have. I can't remember who it is, but yes.
I had a cat that had started out with, 2, but one of them went brown. It was.
Yeah, I think it's hazel eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That tend to go. They go from blue to or brown to green, and so you may have one green one and one brown one at a time. I don't know if it's a permanent condition that it changes, but I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing.
We also have, it is also Etch-a-Sketch Day, National Town Criers Day. We have one of those. We also Eat Your Jello Day. Yeah, fuck that. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Well, you heard that motherfucker is now complaining and talking about suing the people that put him in jail. And I'm like, great, bring out one of the other girls. Let's put him under, trial again.
Yeah.
There's still a line that want to get back at him. So,
I'm sure that there is, and however, I was just saying that I hate Jello. But
he's talking about going out on tour again. Oh, because he was blind when he was in jail, but now he's miraculously he can see again. By the way,
I think he just needs to stay in retirement and just be glad that he's not in jail anymore.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's coming from somebody who used to adore and respect him. Now, just shush, just go away.
I never really liked him that much.
Really? I did. I just absolutely. I grew up with his comedy.
Well, the Cosby Show was really good.
Yeah, but I mean, I grew up. My mom used to put on his comedy albums, and we would sit and listen to his albums, and they were just they were so good. So anyway, it's just for me, just shut up now. Anyway, also National Pecan Pie Day. I wish I'd known that. I would have gotten none because things have changed, but still.
Yeah.
I love it. Also, New Conversations Day, Orangeman's Day, whatever that is, Paper Bag Day.
I think that's a Trump thing, isn't it? The Orange Man Day.
I guess. Of course, we probably just really insulted whatever Orange Men's really is. Also, Simplicity Day. I'm all for that.
Are you?
I got some simple in my day. Yes, I do. It's called Jackson. Jackson the dog. He likes to come in and push the door open with his nose and then stand there and stare at me until I say, I see you. And then he gets all happy and rushes in and wants ear rubs. And he's all like, oh, I'm so happy. Anyway.
Why do you always make him sound stupid?
Well,
he's not
stupid.
He's a scholar.
It sounds like it because he's a big floopy dog, and I just love big floopy dogs like that. Anyway, all right. Well, today we also have a beautiful affirmation. I take this day to relax and enjoy life. I deserve it. Until after we're done recording, when I'm going to be hardcore on a project all week. So there we go.
Well, I'm going to take the rest of the day off after this.
You bitch. And you'll probably eat something fun too.
Well, I did have pork chops for breakfast.
Well, that sounds really good. Lori Dean makes the most amazing pork chops. I've never had a pork chop until I had his pork chops.
Well, if you get them cut really thin, then they're not as high in calorie, and you can have a few of them.
That's
like two, unless they're really thin, and then maybe 3.
I like I always grew up with the thin ones, and they always, no matter who cooked them, they always came out like shoe leather for whatever reason.
Because you put them down in the pan, and then you flip them, and they're done. That's what the small ones are.
I think it was probably because they ended up getting cooked in the oven. Anyway, but Mr. Lurie Dean, he got some of the thicker ones and cooked them for me a couple times, and they were just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loved them. Anyway, we want to remind you that Patreon offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clinton, Nick, DJ Star, Sage from the Univaz, Timothy, Eric, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P.
Oh, did you hear Moose P's current situation? Oh, sorry. Yes, visit Patreon at patreon.com, Matt Burlingame, if you want to join on in. No, Moose left the house, and the rabbit ate half a rug, well, a quarter of a rug.
Oh my God! Wow.
And they can't find all of the rug material. Well, like a lot of times when animals eat things, they tend to just tear them apart.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the rabbit ate the rug.
Is it going to be able to pass it?
Well, that's what he said. He said, "Well, we'll watch to see if he passes it. If not, we may have to visit the vet today."
That's awful. I mean, this sweet little bunny already like peed all over the couch. Yeah,
well,
I think it's having some issues.
And also ate the old couch. Well, and then the wild rabbits that he has ate his daylilies.
Oh, that's
dahlias, not daylilies, dahlias.
But
you can see I'm right on Moose P's.
Yeah,
I'm watching everything.
We're all on Moose P's.
Can we get his security cameras so we can eyeball what he's doing at all times?
I know. Let's just stalk him. I think that would be fun. It's not like
a drone that follows
you don't have to stalk because he stalks himself on Facebook, so we always know what's going on.
It's true. I always know what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, wonder what he's doing 5 minutes later. Oh, look, he just ate 3 M&Ms, and yeah. Anyway, but Sweet Moose P, he has got to love that rabbit because wow.
I know.
Destructive. All right. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have coming up for birthdays this week at some point. And of course, today's birthdays are author Christopher Kohler, and we have that Mr. Green Jeans, Paul, those are some past birthdays. So upcoming birthdays, we have Spencer and Luke. We have that chiropractic genius Derek Lawson. Also Michael, author Layla Doreen. We've got that former Twinkle Boy Toby. Yes, he has a fabulous birthday coming up. Also Gary Bonsignor. That's interesting. Also, Anthony Carbajal. I don't know if you remember remember the ALS? Yes, challenge.
Yes.
So at the kind of the very beginning of that, he was on Ellen, and he was a powerful spokesman for ALS because he was, it runs in his family, and he had just started showing signs of it. So he is, I've followed him for ages. He's a wonderful, wonderful spokesman. Anyway, so also we have Robert, E.T., Anita, Jeffrey, Eric, that Joe, that man held in Montana. Also Michael, Lance Navarro, who's turning 41 years old tomorrow.
Well, at least now he's a daddy for sure.
Yes, he can stop just calling himself daddy. It's a given. Also, we have that Andrew, Bradley, Kendall. I like that. It works. And also that awesome Charles, who used to be a patron of the show and is now an amazing supporter and follower and listener. Charles. We all know Charles. So, all right. Happy birthday, everybody. Just getting right back to the field. So we don't have anything on our feedback, but we do have a few Chub hugs that we want to send out, including to that Mark and Ed, formerly of the All About Me podcast, which they are celebrating being together for about 100 years. So congratulations to them. And also, I want to send a Chub hug out to Tim, formerly Timmy Sims, who has been messaging me while he was reading Last Romance and said absolutely wonderful things, including after he finished the book, messaged me to let me know that he was feeling a little down and realized that it was because he loved my book so much and he missed the main character after. So that's all I'll say about that. Anyway, it was very, very sweet. So what you got going on? Any Chub hugs you want to send out?
I do. I'm sending a Chub hug out to my little girl. Now you remember back, I only had 3 plants, and then the third plant, while the other ones were thriving, she sat there. I mean, we're talking this big, with just small. The original leaves that pop out, and then the first set of leaves. Literally for a month, it did nothing.
Wow. And
today, she started, she's not only almost as big as the other the smallest one or the medium one. She's almost that size, but she started her flowering today. So it's very, I'm just so happy for her. And yeah, it's just, even, it's so funny because I get very attached to all sorts of things. Like for instance, when I get a poinsettia during Christmas time, I make Sean throw it out. I'm gonna go. I whisper into it's time, and he'll go in and get the poinsettia and throw it in the garbage because I feel like I'm letting it down. But they just don't grow outside here. I can't grow them outside, and I don't have room to grow them inside. So, oh my God, I forgot to tell you, my avocado tree, because I grew an avocado from a seed. In the house. My mom always used to do it, but they'd get to about 1.5 feet and then they die.
Yeah.
Something would happen. And so I planted this one, and we're now at it's like 3.5 feet tall.
Wow.
I'm moving it into a bigger pot,
Hmm.
and I even got a roller, so because I can't put it on a counter anymore, it's too tall. So on the roller, so I can roll it around when I need to move it out of an area.
Hmm.
But I'm very excited for my avocado tree as well.
That's awesome. It's funny that you say that because I actually saved 3 avocado seeds, and it's time to do something with them now.
Now you know how to do it, right?
I saw an alternative method than the one I learned when I was young
Okay.
from YouTube, so I'm going to try that one. But it's time to start doing something with it. So
Yeah, they're lovely trees to begin with. They really are. They've got the nice big green leaves on them, and I'm just trying to get it to split up at the top now to form more of a bush.
Yeah. But that reminds me, I am not buying any more avocados for a while.
What?
If they are a regular part of my diet, like every day, every other day, because they're so good, and so they just have so much goodness and I like them. But they're like $2 a piece at the store right now, and then when you get them, they're they're like so ripe, like the whole thing, the whole display. I just expect that the next time I walk into Rayleigh's, like the whole display of them are just going to be like rotten because they are so almost overripe. So by the time I get them home and it's the next day, they're already turned to mush inside.
Well, you can put them in the refrigerator.
Yeah, and I know that you can actually, Mr. Michael Sage told me how to actually freeze them, cut them up and freeze them and stuff, but I tried that and it didn't go that well. So
yeah, but with the refrigerating, the funny thing is we brought some home from Costco and put them up in the refrigerator, and after 2 weeks they had not ripened. So we have to take them out one at a time to get them ripe enough to use for a salad or for a sandwich or something. So
now see, that sounds good, but the ones that I'm getting are not. I mean, they are in the store.
Right. I get that. Yeah.
I don't understand, because usually when you get them in the store, they are underripe, and then you take them home and you have a day or two before you can actually eat them. But
right.
no.
And if you want to make guacamole, to keep them from going icky, how it turns brown or gray colored, on top, use sour cream.
Sour cream? I heard lemon, but wow.
No. Lemon does not work. Sour cream. And what you do is you blend it in. So it's going to give it more of a creamy look. Okay. Instead of a real green look, it's going to have like a whitish green look. But I kid you not, one night we did that, and we forgot and left the bowl out in the living room overnight. Ooh. So in the morning, I looked into it, and it was still the same color.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, when normally if you do that and you come out and you look at it in the morning, it's either a dark brown or black.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so no, lemon's fine for a few minutes, or if you're cutting it up for like a salad.
Yeah.
And you want to keep it from going bad. But if you're making guacamole, fling that sour cream in there and it'll change your life. We had heard about it on one of the food shows, right? Because I was always told, never refrigerate your avocados. As a kid, never refrigerate the avocados. And you need a lemon or a lime to keep them from going bad, and that'll only hold for a little bit. So don't count on it. You might as well, if you're not eating the whole avocado today, you might as well throw it away. And then I keep finding out all these new things. It's amazing.
The other day, maybe last month, I tried some lactose-free sour cream.
Okay.
Do not waste.
I don't even know what that would be. Doesn't sound like it'd be sour cream for one thing.
No. You know how sour cream has maybe a little bit of a tangy taste to it, but the best thing is that it mixes so well with others because it picks up the flavor of the other stuff. this had like some weird taste to
What
it.
they do, make it with cauliflower?
I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I don't know. I didn't actually pay attention. I thought probably it was like some sort of almond thing or something, but I don't know. I just know that I got about halfway through it and was like, this isn't worth it. I would rather take a lactate pill than
Oh
have
yeah, yeah. Well, and with me, it's so funny because somebody insisted on getting the fudge bars from Costco, right? And so, I usually have my calorie count is low enough at night that I usually can have a snack of that. And
Mhm.
then 2 o'clock in the morning, diarrhea.
Oh man.
I know. But it's kind of worth it because it really cleans me out.
Well, I'll tell you, I had a little bit of that the other last week because I realized. See, at first I thought I had a bowl of strawberry cheesecake, actual ice cream that wasn't
Okay.
lactose free,
Right.
and it did not. It reminded me, bitch, you don't eat this stuff anymore, and bitch, no, you're lactose intolerant. Hello. Anyway, even with the pill, but the worst thing was I realized that the gummies that I got with the apple cider vinegar gummies
Yeah.
have the stuff in it that is like sorbitol. You know what that is? It gives you it's the sugar-free stuff that they put in sugar-free candy that makes you like shit your brains out.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm so sorry.
A lot of gummies have that in it, and so I'm just saying, if you're having some issues all of a sudden and you eating some gummy shit, check. Just check. It might be that. So,
Okay.
anyway. Okay. Did you have any chub hugs that you wanted to send out?
I just sent them out.
Okay. Oh yes, to your girl. Gotcha. Okay. Well, current topics, starting off with the anti-LGBTQ hate leader was busted for assisting efforts to undermine the election. As head of the Alliance for Defending Freedom, Michael Ferris focuses on diminishing our rights, but he's also found time to engage in the rights anti-democracy stop the steal push. Busted.
Now, you heard that Trump appeared at the CPAC this weekend, which is I think it's like Christian Republican, blah, 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 bullshit. Bullshit. And he got 70% of the vote of who the CPAC people want to see run for president in 2024. Now, remember, this is just the crazies who have been licking his taint for the last 4 or 5 years that'll do anything he says. So he got 70% of the vote saying they want to see him. Now, this isn't your Republican down the street person that, he's a Republican. He's not the one doing this. This is just all of Trump's basically minions that follow him around, and they go to this
minions.
They go to this kind of event so they can see him because he's the Messiah type thing. Blah, who cares? But don't let that fool you that that's really what the GOP of this country wants. Of course, they want. I think they want Ron DeSantis from the governor of Florida, that idiot down there.
Oh my gosh, he is an idiot. Is an understatement.
They're all tools. They really are.
Well, and I know that every once in a while I get hit with the "why are you so hard on Christians?" I'm a Christian, and it's because of this shit. It's them that is the primary crazies and terrorists of the country.
Well, and it's especially with the Trump situation, they're Christians, and who they have that they're lifting up the golden calf.
And I mean,
no, I mean that's it.
They're not Christian.
Well, how can you be a Christian and go, oh yes, Trump, he's got multiple marriages, which is usually something they don't agree with. He's got the things that he's done and to the people he's done it to. How is any of this a Christian ideal? The only thing And if that's not bad enough, he's defiled the Bible by signing people's Bibles.
That's just.
I mean, yeah. The only time you sign somebody's Bible is when you go, here, this is for you. I hope you find the same joy in reading this as I did. Love, Mom. Okay. That's when it's okay to sign a Bible, but that's only when you're giving it to somebody else, not like you fucking wrote it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It just astounds me that, of all the freaking people, but damn well that if there was a prostitute out there who, Jesus hung with prostitutes and said, hey, they're people too. But, they're going to be the first one to say kill the prostitute. But the guy that, had the pee on him, they're all like, hey, you love him, because everybody makes a mistake, especially if you're a rich guy.
Girl, we don't know he got peed on.
Well,
unless you got pictures.
I more interesting.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
What about Caitlyn Jenner?
Speaking of CPAC, hecklers relentlessly dead-named Caitlyn Jenner over the extremist heavy CPAC weekend. Caitlyn Jenner, CNN, and the women's Olympic gymnastic team were just some of the targets of this year's second, but just as hate-fueled CPAC gathering. It really is like the extremist terrorist network, isn't it?
Oh, definitely something's wrong there.
Yeah. No, and they're supposed to be the good guys. Anyway, also we've got injunction blocks the new Tennessee law that requires anti-trans signs on business bathrooms. House Bill 1182, which called for signs reading, "This facility has a policy of allowing the use for restrooms for either biological sex," will not go into effect while the lawsuit against it proceeds. Well, with that news, Tom wants to talk to you about.
Okay, well, let's see. What was fun this week? Well, on Evil, which has already been picked up for a third season on Paramount Plus, on episode 3, they had a fire djinn that was haunting, I guess, call it haunting, this young girl. And so the group from the church, which is what the main characters are, they're hired by the Catholic Church to investigate things that might be demonic or things that are unusual. And so this week it was a fire djinn, and it was cool because the fire djinns actually, you get to see them, you get to see these scary things, and wow. It's pretty scary. I love the fact that on Facebook there's a group, for the Evil, and everyone's like, oh, I can't watch it at night. I always watch it in the morning. I watch it during the day. I never watched it at night. And even though it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, it's still scary. So worth seeing. I just love it. Okay, RuPaul this week, All Stars. We got rid of Yada Sofia, and what they had done this week, they were all playing for women who have been in halftime shows, or no, I'm sorry, anybody who's been in a halftime show for the Super Bowl, you could bring them up there. They were going to do a RuPaul song, but they were going to be like as these celebrities. And so like one person did Carol Channing, because Carol Channing was the first Super Bowl halftime show. Because it was in the heart of Hello Dolly, and she was a big Broadway star. So that was kind of funny. But they also had people doing Lady Gaga, doing Prince, doing even though Prince is a boy, it's still kind of drag. Did Beyonce, did Katy Perry. So some were really fun. But Yada Sofia, she did Shakira. Remember Her Hips Don't Lie?
Yeah.
And And the problem I think that Yara Sofia has is she's one of the few like major name Hispanic drag queens that's working the circuit right now. So she's pretty comfortable in her own skin. And when you get to RuPaul, you've got to play the game, basically. Right. So first of all, her hips were not lying. I mean, her hips were lying on when she played in the role. She was playing Shakira, and the thing is that we all loved Charo because she had that wonderful, just loving, everybody, let's have a party. Everyone's having fun. Where I thought Yara Sofia, she had a tendency to be a little snottier, not as much fun, overconfident, and it wasn't it didn't look good on her. And I honestly think that's what did her in on the show. This week on Loki, we got to meet more Loki Horcrux.
Yeah.
So and this one, one of the ones this week was about a 3-foot long alligator, but had the Loki crown, and it was the cutest thing. I mean, it kept biting everybody's arms, but it's like, it was so cute. It's so cute. I was really surprised how adorable it was. Monsters at Work started up on Disney Plus, which is the Monsters Inc.
Nice.
T-shirts, Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
It's an Monsters Inc. spinoff where they've switched over now to laughter instead of scaring the kids, because they get more power from the kids laughing than they get from them screaming. So now Mike has to train everybody to be funny, because all these guys know how to do a scare. So they have some new characters that they're introducing, but it's been it's pretty cute. There's 2 episodes to start out with, and there'll be 1 per week every Wednesday. Same thing with, we have one more week of Loki, 1 more episode. And let's see. Oh, on Physical, which is an Apple TV series, this woman, Rose Byrne, is so Brian. There's moments where I just can't believe, and Brian watched it and he's going, it's like someone's reading my mind and making a TV show out of it, because Rose Byrne's character goes over to talk to the lady who used to run the ballet studio that she would go to. And she was going, oh yeah, I love being at the ballet studio and I've really missed it since you've been gone. The place closed. And she goes, I'm even starting to teach aerobics classes, but with kind of a Broadway, with a ballet sensibility to it. And she's going, and okay, so what are you doing here? And she goes, well, I thought maybe, some of your clientele might want to try my class. And she goes, what's strange is, why would you want to teach people when you don't like anybody? You don't like people. And it's like, oh my God, it's just like Brian, he hates everybody. So, and you'll find that out when we have a live show in 2 weeks and Brian doesn't show up because he hates everyone. And by the way, did you see how many things, did you listen to the show yet?
No, that is on my agenda.
Oh, well, when you do, he had 2 things to talk about. 2. Okay. Anyway, I digress. On Netflix, there's a show called Fear Street. Last week we talked about 1994, about how there was a witch that had cursed the town for years, and every once in a while, all of a sudden, the serial killer would show up and murder a bunch of people. Well, we went back to 1978 to find out what happened then, and it was I think it was Tommy Slater got taken over by the witch and started hacking up campers and counselors at the summer camp there. It's Shady Side, Shady Side's camp. And so, oh my God, at one point he comes out of the shadows and chops this guy twice in the face. It was so gross. It was so great. But so it's actually a trilogy of movies. So there's 3 movies.
How scary is
Um,
it?
I'm sorry.
How scary is it?
Yeah, it's probably too scary for you.
Okay.
Um, and so we did, like I said, 1994, went back to 1978. Now we're going back to where the witch was officially cursed the town, which was 1666. Devil, the
Oh,
devil sign. Okay. So anyway, that comes next week. They've been bringing one out a week. So this is a trilogy, and it's kind of fun. I don't know why they didn't put it in Halloween during October, to have 3 movies leading up to Halloween. But I'm not the programmer, I guess. They don't want to hear. Grownish is back on freeform, and it's also, you can also see it on Hulu. And they're on vacation in Mexico to try to bring everybody back together as friends. The cast, try to bring them back together, because they kind of ended roughly at the end of the 3rd season, and all hell goes loose. You got to be careful when you're in foreign countries, drinking and having sex on beaches and stuff like that. You just got to watch what you're doing, because you can be arrested, and that's not a good thing. I ended up getting Peacock for 90 days. Well, I've had Peacock for a year for free, but then they said, you're just about done with your 1 year for free. So we're going to give you 90 days with all access with no commercials, and see how you like it. And I'm like, okay. So then I started watching, because the Olympics are going to be on there, and they have some stuff on NBC that I wouldn't mind, but I don't want to watch commercials. So there's a show that was out a few years ago called Mr. Mercedes. It's with Brandon Gleeson, and he plays this detective who's on the hunt for this mass killer named Mr. Mercedes. And what Mr. Mercedes is best known for is how he drove a Mercedes through a crowd of people waiting in a job line outside of a building. They were all waiting in line. It was late night, early morning. They're in line. They're trying to get the opportunity for a couple jobs, and he just runs them down, kills 16 people. So it's kind of creepers. It does have Holland Taylor in it. She's actually his love interest, which I thought was hilarious, because we never see her as a love interest. Not really. She's not the girl next door. Actually, she is the girl next door here, and that's why she's the love interest. At one point, it was pretty funny. He goes, "So why are you attracted?" Because she's trying to hit on him, and he turned her away, and he goes, "Anyway, why would you even be attracted to me?" And she goes, "Well, let's see. You live next door, so I don't have to worry about drinking and driving." And he goes, "So inconvenient." And she goes, "Believe me, there are worse things." I'm like, "That's true. That's really true." Okay, so that I adore her. So saw a new movie called Stowaway, which is new to Netflix. It's Anna Kendrick, and it's Toni Collette. It's about 4 astronauts on their way to Mars. And well, it was supposed to be 3, but there was a stowaway, but they never really, I don't know if they really explained why he was stowed away on the ship, but because he's on the ship, they don't have enough water, they don't have enough air, they don't have enough food, because, you're prepped with what you need. Now, I do have a problem though. If you're on a ship and you're traveling for months, and so you need to make sure, I would think that they would make sure that you had enough water, or a water conversion for at least a couple of them. So if one went down, you'd have the other one to go to. Because I've seen this in a lot of movies lately, where they're either their air conversion or their water conversion breaks down. And it's like, oh my God, I've seen commercials where women carry around a lunchbox that's actually a oxygen converter take yeah, and they're like $1,000. And it what it does is it takes CO2 as you're walking around with this thing, so you don't have to have the tank anymore, and it also always supplies you fresh oxygen. Get a couple of those for the ship. How about that? So you don't have to worry about, I don't know. I mean, they're flying to fucking Mars, but they can't get enough equipment on the ship to keep these people alive. Otherwise, the acting was really good, and it had a pretty dark ending, but it was good. I mean, overall, it was a decent movie. There's only 4 people in it, though.
And which one is this?
This is Stowaway.
Okay.
Anna Kendricks and Toni Collette. And it's interesting because Toni Collette actually gets to use her Aussie or New Zealand, I'm not sure which one she's from, her accent, because she normally is, the mom from, I See Dead People. But she usually plays an American. And so it's kind of fun actually getting her to use her accent. And I mean, it's but what I thought was interesting was they only use 4 people. And even when they're talking to, like NASA, this is blah, blah, blah. Okay. And you never hear the voice. So they kept the talent, no extra people, no voiceovers, no nothing. 4 people, that's what you get. So that was fun. We started watching White Lotus last night, which seems to be, I thought it was going to be more like Fantasy Island. It's on HBO. It's a kind of a comedy from Mike White. He and basically it's like Fantasy Island, but more like Love Boat so far. I mean, people are having ridiculously lame problems so far. There's nothing nothing's really happened. I'm not sure where this is going to go. It's HBO. It does have a good cast with a lot of fun people in it, but I don't know where it's going. I thought it was going to be more like the new Fantasy Island they had, where sometimes you don't want to have your fantasy, because ultimately that could be ugly and bad. And so I thought is what Fantasy Island always should have been, instead of this, I find the love of my life in when we were back in the army, and now now that I realize that he loved me, then I don't feel bad anymore that he died in there. Yeah, who cares? Come on, I want some power.
Yeah.
And let's see. So next week we've got Escape Room 2 opening up, and also Space Jam 2 opening up. Space Jam 2 will be on HBO Max as well as theaters. Escape Room is just theaters. And then Schmigadoon, which is Apple TV, the musical that I've been waiting for with Cicely Strong from Saturday Night Live. That starts this week as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really. And Brian's reading The Dressmaker, the book The Dressmaker.
Huh.
Yeah, that's so nice. Thanks, Brian. That's great.
You fucking read my book.
Yeah, and
oh, sorry.
Yeah, the girls are all doing fine, and I told you about the avocado tree, and I think that's about it. Yeah, we're done with the heat wave, so I'm happy.
Yeah, well, we still have some 100 attempts.
Well, did you see that? Well, we're going to have plenty of them, I'm sure. But did you see Tahoe this morning was 85 degrees when we were 70?
No.
Yeah, they never cooled off last night.
Wow, that's weird.
And they don't have air conditioners either.
Yeah.
I guess you slept out on the deck hoping the bears didn't eat you.
You went to a casino and fell asleep at a slot machine.
That's really a good idea. Yeah, probably go to the casino and rent a room for the night.
Yeah.
Or just gamble through the night. Is the buffet still open?
Right.
We could kill 3 or 4 hours there.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, for me, let's see. Kindle Vella starts tomorrow. At least the rudimentary stuff does. So if you are thinking about becoming a Kindle Vella reader, You can go over and look for the launch of my serial, as it were, Eden's Bay, or The Scandals of Eden's Bay. I'm not sure how they're going to list it. But anyway, if you are partaking. So again, I talked about it last week, but for anyone that didn't catch it, Kindle Vella is basically going to be a part of the Kindle thing over on Amazon, which will run serials. So it actually posts in chapters. You get the first 3 for free. And after that, you have to pay to unlock additional chapters. And I kind of went through a little thing where I was like, do I really want to continue with this story, or do I want to take a story that I'm going to be working on and have more written and put it up so that there's more of that? Like, what's going to be the best thing for me to do? Because it had really kind of rekindled my being able to like really write and invest in my writing again for a while. But in the long run, I'm going to stick with what I've got and just have fun with it and not worry about trying. It's cents. If anybody wants to read it, I mean, it's literally a few cents that you're spending on each chapter. So, and then that gets split between the authors and Amazon. So if you spend 10 cents on a story, I get 5, maybe. And that's not including taxes. So, you know, it's not like I need to overly invest in this, but it's still a fun concept. I like the concept. I just hope that they refine it and make it more author friendly. Anyway, other than that, let's see. Last Romance is still doing well.
Oh no, that's Bad Romance. That's Bad Romance.
Oh yeah. It's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Yeah, Last Romance is you know, it's selling okay, but it's not getting the reviewers, because most of the reviewers are independent little things unless you pay for the reviewers, and it's bad form to, you know, have to fork out $50 to have someone read your book and give a review of it, especially if they end up not liking it. I'm just going to say that. But those reviews are really paid reviews are frowned on. So anyway, but all the reviews are like 5 stars. Everybody who has read it has given me feedback saying how much they love it, that they sobbed through the whole thing, that it was just such a great book. But reviewers want happily ever after. And this book doesn't have, depending on how you look at it, a happily ever after. And some people just aren't up for real reading, I guess. So just saying that, you know, anyway. So if you want a good read, go read it. And thank you to everybody that has read it, has reviewed it, and has bought copies of it. I really appreciate it. And it means a lot to me. It really does. Other than that, I have been focusing on work, of course, and I have a week ahead of me that is going to be pretty much nothing but very diligent work on a specific project for actually one of our sponsors. So I'm very happy about that. I have resumed writing on The Time Witch, which is a really good story that I've gotten about halfway through it and set it aside to finish Last Romance. But anyway, so I'm bringing that back. And then I have, what is this? Transcribing. Okay, so I've been transcribing from hard copy to digital my old journals. And currently, I finished 1996, and currently I started going through 1997. And I realized that these 2 years were pivotal times for me. I mean, 1996 was, I wrote Jess, the Housewife book, the first draft of it. I wrote Paperclip Messiah, my first play during this time. I got my first job, my first newspaper job at Mom Guess What. I mean, I went through bankruptcy. I mean, there's all these like different things that really defined the next decade or two that like took place in this year. And then in 1997 was when I met you. So, which, you know, that was 24 years ago, girl, just saying. But it really, I was reading this and I was really in awe of how kind of strong and fearless I was becoming. But also, I really cringe at how fucking naive and stupid I was at the time. And who I fell in love with. This was the year that happened.
Wasn't it This Side Up?
Yes, but that was I was at MGW and then
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I was with MGW for almost a year, and then actually all of us who started this site up were at MGW when we met, and then that's when we moved on to that.
Okay.
That was the year that I met Heather. That was the year that I met Clint. Yeah, lifelong friendships have been started from that year, so it was really powerful. So anyway, but going through it, I'll tell you there are some things that I'm just like going, oh god, I don't want to read this, but it's good to get it done. Also, and then finally, I'm finishing up season 3 of Downton Abbey. Finally, yes, years late to the game, but just such a good addicting show. If I put it on, I know that I'm going to get sucked into 3-4 episodes of it.
Well, and it's how can it be so exciting when it's, you know, basically I think it starts off in at the time of the Titanic sinking, so
Yes.
1912, and this is much more exciting than watching a couple of the Fast and Furious movies. How is that? I know the characters are fantastic, but why I give a shit about these rich people or I care about the poor people, I don't know. It's the writing is sensational, and when you got people like Maggie Smith and the rest of these actors who are brilliant, just brilliant. And and how did they not sweep the Emmys every fucking year? I don't get it.
Don't know.
And they didn't. I don't think they ever did.
That's insane because it really is just such a good show. And I just love the way, especially the two older women who clash sometimes, you know, how they can, I mean, Maggie Smith, when she delivers her comments and stuff, they're priceless, they're cutting, but they're poignant. Like, you know that she's cutting you down. Whereas when the other woman does it, you don't realize it for a second that she just blew somebody away, that she just told somebody basically point blank, fuck you, you know, and it takes you a second to realize that she really did it because she just does it so bloop, just comes out.
Yeah, she does it. You know, someone says something to her and she goes, well, that's an excellent idea, but since that's not the correct way of doing that, we're just going to move on from your suggestion.
Yeah.
And you're like going, okay, wait a minute. What? Bitch.
Yeah.
But I love her character. She's once and throughout the series, you like her even more as the show goes on.
Like the more subdued older woman that I was talking about, the way that when she handled when the cook left because she didn't want to work with a prostitute, and the cook's all like, well, I'm going to apply for a job down at blah blah blah, they need a simple cook down there, and she's like, well, I'm sure that you will find that you're absolutely fitting for that job, you know. And it's like, so just like you know, anyway, such a great show. I am finally glad that Bates's story has gotten better because I was so fucking tired of it. It's just like, I do not give a shit. I don't want to go into those scenes. I almost wanted to fast forward to them, but you needed the information.
Yeah, and
whatever.
But you got to remember that time period, Scandal was, you can't get away from it.
Right.
Even though there was no social media, Scandal was, and rumor was the worst thing that could possibly happen to you.
Right.
We don't need facts. We just need the thought of something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of like social media is,
But it was the whole Bates in prison thing that I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to see this in Oscar Wilde. I don't want to see this in this. I am so tired of that type of story from that type of period. Everything else around it, awesome. I'm enjoying all of it, enjoying the scandal, but it was just that whole prison thing story. I was just like, can we just fucking get done with this already? Because I'm just, ugh. And then of course, one of the characters died. One of the bigger characters died, and I was just a mess. I was a mess for at least a good 10-15 minutes. All right, well, that's me. So now that we've ended on that happy note, well, we want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you, because Fat Marker Clothing wants those of us who have been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And you can do this by going over to fatmarkerclothing.com and using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything while ordering. Hey. And that brings us to our advice. This comes from Miss Manners. My coworker is an enthusiastic crafter who delights in sharing her creations. While this is the most generous thing, she will often preface the presentation with the statement that she doesn't charge. She has never been asked, hold on a second, I gotta blow up this text a little bit. Sorry, people. No. How do I do this? Blow up. There we go. Now maybe I can read it. Probably not, but we'll see. She has never been asked to craft anything for myself or anyone else in the office. We always graciously accept her offerings, since to do otherwise would be a great offense. But her statement is confusing, and we never know quite how to respond. She is a sweet, good-hearted person, and we never want to hurt her feelings. She is quite proud of her accomplishments as well. She should be. But I also do not want to accumulate much less pay for items that will not be displayed in my home, as we do not share the same decorating taste. How should one respond?
I've known people like this before,
Mm-hmm.
where they do some sort of craft. A couple of them pottery, and they did really wonderful stuff. And then I'm like, I remember one time I said, "Oh, you're not gonna do it anymore," and then they yelled at me because, do you realize how expensive it is? Okay, I just was complimenting you. I wasn't. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
But I've had people do it with other things, and it's like, oh, I could probably make money from doing this, but and here's your free one, but
Yeah.
they kind of throw that out, and it's like, sometimes, I mean, if you like what they're doing, that's great, but if they're giving you crap, like, Christmas wreaths that are hideous. I'm making Christmas wreaths now. Kill me. Just fucking kill me. Look at that thing. It's hideous. And sometimes I encourage people to do hideous things because I'm an awful person. So
you don't encourage anyone to do Brian.
Okay. I'm just saying this is it's just easier to accept the gifts and listen to their bullshit. And if you don't like it, throw it away at home. Do not throw it away at your desk where they can see it.
Or better yet, take it home, put it on the wall or something, take a picture of it in case they ever ask, and then throw it away.
Yes. I mean, I don't think it's malicious. So if it's not malicious and it's not getting mean, then just try to, I mean, they're doing something positive with their time. That's you can't ask for something better than that.
Right. Yeah. I appreciate little things like that, little thoughts, but there are definitely, I have several people who used to continually get me little things, or more like they order them because, okay, so since one of our friends doesn't listen to the show, I'll just tell you. So I have a friend who is just in love with getting like Happy Meals for the toys, or seeing the new little gadget, like the little, like there'll be a little package in the store, and like you don't know, there's like 12 different little toys in it, but you don't know which one you're going to get. So he'll get it and then he'll open it, and if it's a toy that he doesn't want, I'm the one that inherits all those. And he's like, I got this and I thought of you. And I'm like, no, you got this, hoping it was something else. And you're like, I don't know what to do with this because I don't want to throw it away because I spent $5 on it. So I'm going to give it to you out of love. And I appreciate the thought. I love the thought in a way, the afterthought. But I end up keeping it for a little bit, and then it just falls in the trash accidentally.
See, I thought you were going to go with the one, the person who used to always buy you hideous T-shirts in orange, because I'm pretty sure they had a pumpkin fetish.
I think so. Yeah, he had a birthday recently, by the way.
You're
the one that told me that.
I did.
He is, I will not say was, because he is a very sweet, kind person. But yeah, every once in a while he would say, oh, I bought you this shirt, and it would always be orange. And I'm like, have you looked at me? Orange is just not my color. So yeah, we finally figured out you probably had a pumpkin fetish, because girl, I did not look good in orange, but I wore them every time I saw him. So, because he was sweet enough to think of me and my.
And that's how you should treat this situation.
Yeah.
They're not. This doesn't sound like this woman's doing it maliciously yet. She hasn't yelled at you because you threw my gift away. You know, and once that starts happening, it's a different situation.
And she's not forcing you to pay or saying, "And here's the bill."
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because I'm sorry, if it's a gift, then I wouldn't even say that. And I don't charge. It would just be a gift. But anyway, let's see what dear Prudence say. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, not dear Prudence, Miss Manners. Gentle reader, we all pride ourselves on being clever, but Miss Manners notes that sometimes it is better not to be too insightful. If your coworker says she's not charging, perhaps to skirt any rules about peddling in the office, then you are not expected to pay. And if reasonable attempts to dissuade her, it's so kind of you, but please do not think you need to do all this work. It's too much. Fail, there is always the closet or the trash can. Oh, that was poignant. Yeah. You know what? One of the sweetest gifts that I didn't ask for was when our Larry Queen, our Q Sledge, part of the Pride 48 network, lives up there with that TJ Zombie girl, made me the quilt that's hanging on my wall. It was not only such a major surprise, but it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, every once in a while, a gift can be like, oh my God, that is so wonderful, thank you. Otherwise, it can be a oddly corn hay doll that you're like, what? This is creepy. All right. Hey, Chubs, would you rather visit Australia or South Africa?
See, I would have automatically said Australia a couple days ago, but I saw some things on Australia, like weird things like animals and creatures. And they have I saw there was a spider that was about this big, the body, and then there were legs, but the legs looked more like a crab. And it was under someone's car, and there were two of them. And I'm like, oh my God. And then you've seen when they have in one area, I'm not sure where it is in Australia, but all the spiders shed their webs at one time. So the entire countryside is covered in cobwebs. Yeah, so that's pretty creepy. Not to mention just the fact that what, 80% of the fucking country is nothing but Priscilla, Queen of the Desert set.
Well, not to mention the fact that they have like how many of the world's deadliest snakes and shit there that they just find and play. Ugh.
But then I don't know what I'd go to South Africa for, because I think of, when I think of Africa, I think of animals that can eat me.
See, when I think of South Africa, I think of Africa, period. I think of anti-gay, like slice you in your bed, anti-gay shit. So
now, can I just go to New Zealand?
Oh, hey, let's all go there. We can visit Arthur.
Well, and also we can go to the Hobbit town, and they have that there, and there's a lot of beautiful area in, because they're kind of like Northern California, where they have such a diverse landscape, everything from mountains. I mean, you look at Lord of the Rings, because it was all filmed there. So they had deserts, they have mountains, they have, it's everywhere, all sorts of things. And it's supposed to be quite beautiful. Yeah. And it doesn't have giant spider crab things. Yeah. I hope.
Well, if I had to pick one of the two, though, I think I would probably go to Australia, but just never leave the main city. Anyway, hey Chubs, would you rather visit Graceland or Neverland Ranch?
Well, there's nothing much in Neverland Ranch anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know if they don't have the zoo anymore there. They don't have the carousel, so I can't imagine there's much more than just children's panties laying everywhere.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So I'd probably go to Graceland, even though I don't give a shit about Elvis. I've had to play him. He ruined my birthday. I just don't want to talk about it. But then I'd like to see Nashville and Memphis and some of the other places around Tennessee. So
I'd like to see Dolly.
Dolly would.
No, I'd like to see Dolly.
Oh, just Dolly? Okay.
Yeah, but Dolly would too. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'd probably pick Graceland too, but that leads us into our new segment, which is a trivia question.
Oh.
And today's trivia question for you is, how much did, after Michael Jackson's death, did the Neverland Ranch sell for? Well, let me rephrase that. How much was the last sale of Neverland Ranch for? Any guess?
I would probably think, because there was quite a bit of land and it's in an amazing area of California, so I would probably think 25 million.
Actually, you're pretty close. It actually sold for 22 million, but its worth was over $100 million. So nobody wanted it, and it sold for $22 million, which, is frankly $100 million property for that. It comes with a little bit baggage, but hey, a little sage, you clean it up. The main house, I was looking at a photo of the main house at night during the autumn time. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. It was just beautiful. Anyway, so a little trivia there. All right, what's in your lunchbox? Well, apparently everybody is fasting this week because there's nothing.
Yeah, I know.
What have you been eating that's good? Excuse me.
Well, today Sean is taking a pork butt and he's smoking it. He's smoking it, and then and of course that's what you make pulled pork from.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Enough with the entendre.
Oh.
So we'll be eating on that for a few days, because you do. But otherwise, when it's hot, we're not cooking as much, or we're having salads instead. Anything that doesn't heat up the house in some way. So a lot of fast food. We ate at McCooney's last night. So
nice.
Yeah, which is sushi for those who don't know.
Yeah.
It was, but these heat up the house dinners are nice.
Yeah. Yesterday, I made tomato sandwiches because my mother just said, can we just have tomato sandwiches for dinner? And I said, absolutely. So made it with butter, mayo, a little salt, and just some really good Roma tomatoes. And even my father was just like, oh my God, this is the best tomato sandwich I've ever had. Like,
Butter, huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
just,
see, it was always mayo, tomato, salt and pepper.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this, if you add just a little butter, you don't have to smother it, but you add a little butter on one of the pieces of bread before you put some mayo over it. It just adds this
Wait,
extra
you put
little.
butter and mayo on the same side?
Well, yes, a little bit
Okay.
of butter, mayo on both sides inside.
Right,
But I
right.
don't like use tons and tons of mayo. But a nice amount so that it goes down.
Right, right, sure. Yeah.
And then yeah, nice thick but not like gagging thick pieces of tomato. It was just it's really good. Try it. It adds a little bit of flavor to it. Beautiful. Anyway, so that was what I had yesterday. Other than that, no, I made some rice. I boiled some chicken and then used the chicken water to cook the rice and with a little bit of salt, and it just came out so perfect. Anyway, currently, LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of HIV infection. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento, along with the HIV Planning Council, want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, aka PrEP, is a medication proven to be 99% effective in preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, call your local sexual health clinic in Sacramento County, California, and contact Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org to get started on protecting your sexual health. And send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com, or leave us a comment at chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Please become a patron of the show over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame for as little as $1 a month. And find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swannerandjudd.com, and find their podcast in iTunes or on iHeartRadio. Also, find out more about my books, including The Last Romance, over at justkisstheguy.com, and check out my other podcast at biggaysection.com. And give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
Woohoo! Oh, and don't forget to watch videos of the show over on YouTube, youtube.com. All right, with that, we wish you a wonderful, cool, breezy, maybe even a little bit of rain. Who knows?
No,
No,
not here.
no.
Not here. They
Damn it.
might.
They might.
Yeah, the likelihood of us getting rain in the month of July is you're better to have an earthquake.
Which we did, and we didn't even talk about that horrible earthquake, did we? Was that last week?
And it wasn't horrible.
It startled me. Okay, so it's not the earthquake thing, because obviously we're in California, earthquakes happen. But I have not, and actually there were a lot of people on Facebook too that were like, I've been here 40, 50 years or whatever, and I haven't felt an earthquake that strong in this area. And I mean, but it rocked things, it moved things. It had like the whole thing, like moving back. It made me seasick, actually. But the thing was, it just kept going. And that's what finally got to me was okay, is this going to stop? Fuck.
Well, I saw a scientist talking about why it was felt like it was.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when it's on the mountain or on the other side of the mountains, the earthquake or the vibration moves through the mountains because it's an element that creates a perfect storm of like when you're moving electricity from one way or another. It's better if you have the way you do it. Where if you have an earthquake in San Francisco and we start feeling the tremors, they start to limit themselves as they pass through the valley because of what the ground is made of in the valley. But because of the minerals and metals in the mountain, that amplifies it. So when it hits us, we get a pretty good shot at what they felt there.
Wow.
So that's why this one was so effective, was because remember the Farmington one showed like a similar, that was just they were reacting to the tremor hitting them, not them actually having an earthquake.
Yeah.
So it was, and it was almost the same size as the original earthquake that hit. 6.1. This was like a 4.9 in Farmington, which was, like I said, basically it was just a reaction from that earthquake that felt like a real earthquake because it was so strong.
That makes sense because, but I'll tell you, there was a point where I was just like, is it going to stop? Is this the big one? What's going on?
We don't have any major faults through the Sacramento County area, through the valley.
Yeah.
And so we only feel what's happening. We get the reaction from it a little bit. We can feel it, we can hear it, but we won't have the big one here. We may end up with some beautiful coastal property, but we won't be the big one. Yeah, it won't happen here. And what was the other thing that was interesting? I'm trying to think. It was I don't remember, but there was other interesting things.
Okay.
So don't worry.
Explaining that. Yeah, it was a little disconcerting. And like I said, we're used to the earthquake stuff, but when we haven't felt something like that, and it went on for quite a while, so like a little weird. Anyway, speaking of a little weird, oh my God, it's the end of the show. Okay, we will catch you next time. We love you.
Bye.